Picture this. It's Friday evening, and you just got home from work. You open your fridge, and it's practically empty. You promised yourself you'd eat healthy this week, but now you're staring at a $7 carton of pre-washed salad that'll barely last 2 meals. You reach for the corner store instead and drop $12 on a bag of wilted greens that won't make it past tomorrow. That's your first bite into the hidden cost of being broke. Now multiply that by every corner store stop, every convenience purchase, every emergency you couldn't prepare for. Suddenly, a $7 salad becomes $12, then $15, then $20, just because you didn't have the buffer to buy smart. And that's before we talk about the $35 overdraft fee that hit last week when your account dipped a few bucks below zero. That's $35 on top of the $12 for the salad. You're basically paying double, triple, even quadruple just for being short on cash at the wrong time. Hey, I'm Brian, and I spend way too much time thinking about why people keep paying more than they should for everything. Honestly, it makes me angry. But I've also learned that there's a math behind being broke, and once you see it, the way the system is set up becomes painfully clear. Here's the thing. This isn't just about buying overpriced salads or paying overdraft fees. This is systemic, relentless, and mathematically punishing. It's invisible to most people. It's relentless because the costs compound month after month, year after year. And it's mathematically punishing because a dollar you can't spare today doesn't just vanish. It grows into a series of extra dollars you'll never get back. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly why someone with less money ends up paying more for everything, from groceries to cars, and why understanding this math is the first step toward breaking the cycle. If you're ready to see the numbers behind the broke tax the system quietly enforces on you, hit that subscribe button and let's unpack this together. Here's the thing about money that most people get wrong. Being broke isn't just about how little you earn. It's about how much you're forced to pay for every single thing because you don't have the cash to buy smart. And there's a name for this phenomenon, thanks to a British writer and economist you might not expect. The Boots Theory, inspired by Terry Pratchett. The story goes like this. Imagine you need a pair of boots. The wealthy person can afford a sturdy $50 pair that lasts 10 years. The person with less money can only afford a cheap $10 pair, which falls apart in a year. Over 10 years, that poor person spends $100 just to replace boots, while the wealthy person spends $50. They literally pay double for the same service. Now, let's translate that to real-life numbers. Take a single household item, say a frying pan. A quality pan costs $80 and lasts 10 years. A cheaper $20 pan might only last 2 years, so over a decade, the poor person ends up spending $100 instead of $80. That's 25% more just because they couldn't pay up front. Multiply that by furniture, shoes, small appliances, and electronics, and suddenly the math adds up to hundreds, even thousands of dollars lost. Money that could have been invested, saved, or buffered for emergencies. Economists call this the poverty premium, and it's real. According to the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK, low-income households spend on average $2,000 more per year on basic goods and services compared to higher-income households, simply because they can't buy in bulk, access cheap credit, or avoid predatory fees. This is the math of being broke. It's invisible, but it's relentless. And here's the kicker. Every emergency you can't absorb, every convenience you have to pay for, creates another layer of compounded cost. The person who seems to spend less actually ends up paying more. So when people tell you, just budget better or stop buying coffee, they're missing the real issue. This isn't poor financial habits. It's a structural trap baked into how the economy treats those without liquidity. By the end of this video, you'll see how this trap doesn't just exist in theory. It touches your groceries, your bank account, your car, your rent, and even your mental bandwidth. You might be thinking, okay, Brian, but how does this apply to my actual life in 2026? Let's start small, because the poverty premium shows up in places most people never notice. First, household goods. Take something as basic as toilet paper. A Costco pack of 50 rolls might cost $25. That's 50 cents per roll. You can't buy it because of the $25 upfront cost. So you go to the corner store and pick up a 4-pack for $6. That's $1.50 per roll. That's 3 times more expensive, and over a year it adds up to hundreds of dollars wasted. Small stuff, right? Except it compounds when added to every small purchase. Next, banking and fees. This one will make your jaw drop. Imagine a $5 overdraft hits your account. Your bank charges a $35 fee. That's effectively a 700% interest rate on $5. Meanwhile, wealthy clients with high balances get free banking and waived fees. They avoid paying hundreds, sometimes thousands, per year just by having the cash buffer others don't. Cars are even worse. A person with a solid credit score can buy a $20,000 car at 5% interest, paying about $23,000 over 5 years. A person with poor credit might pay $4,000 upfront for a clunker, financed at 24% interest, and end up paying $15,000 total for a car that constantly breaks down. Not only did they pay more relative to value, they lose reliability and time fixing breakdowns. That's the Boots theory in motion again. Housing shows the same trap on a massive scale. Renting a $2,000 per month apartment builds zero equity. Buying a $1,200 per month mortgage on the same property over 30 years builds wealth, even after interest. Yet, low-income families often can't secure mortgages due to credit barriers or lack of savings. They rent the same asset for more and gain nothing. And here's the pattern. The system is designed so that those with less pay more. Economists call this a wealth tax by circumstance, though it's invisible. Every decision, small or large, is punished financially for people without buffers. But it gets significantly darker than toilet paper or banking fees. The costs accumulate, compound, and sneak into every corner of daily life. Your morning coffee, the convenience store sandwich, the monthly utilities. You're paying extra because the system assumes you can't pay up front. By now, it's clear, being broke isn't just a temporary inconvenience. It's mathematically expensive, emotionally draining, and structurally reinforced. I know what you're going to say. Brian, people make bad choices all the time. They buy lottery tickets, they overspend. Why blame the system? Here's the thing. It's not because they're lazy, careless, or stupid. It's because scarcity literally changes how our brains work. Harvard and Princeton researchers have shown that when people are constantly short on money, their functional IQ drops by about 13 points, the equivalent of missing an entire night of sleep. Your cognitive bandwidth narrows, your focus narrows, and you literally can't plan for the long term. Think about that corner store salad for $12. It seems stupid to pay 3 times more than you would at a bulk store. But if your mental energy is consumed by keeping the lights on, the rent paid, and the bills covered, that $12 decision isn't reckless. It's a rational choice under pressure. You prioritize immediacy over efficiency because you don't have the mental bandwidth to plan for the future. And the psychological toll goes beyond money. Constant stress about bills, late fees, car repairs, or a sudden health expense creates what behavioral economists call tunneling. Your mind narrows to immediate survival, making you miss opportunities to save, negotiate, or buy smarter. Every extra fee, every overpriced purchase, every financial emergency adds weight to the trap. It's not because people are bad at math. It's because the system punishes them for not having the liquidity to make optimal decisions. This is why the poverty premium isn't just financial. It's cognitive, emotional, and compounding. So when you see someone paying $35 for a $5 overdraft or replacing a $10 chair 5 times in a decade, don't judge. Understand. The math of scarcity is harsh, and the mind bends under it. If you're new here and just subscribed, comment your name below. I read every comment and shout out new subscribers in my next video. I do appreciate you joining me on this finance journey. Let's zoom in on one major expense that exposes the poverty trap in high definition: cars. Imagine 2 people, Alex, who has good credit and a healthy emergency fund, and Jordan, who doesn't. Alex wants a reliable $20,000 car. With a 5% interest loan over 5 years, Alex ends up paying about $23,000 total, with low risk of breakdowns and minimal stress. Plus, Alex's car lasts 10 plus years, building consistent utility without repeated reinvestment. Jordan, on the other hand, has poor credit. The dealership knows this and offers a subprime financing deal, a $4,000 used car financed at 24% interest over 4 years. The monthly payment is $275, but because the interest is so high, the total comes out to $15,000, nearly 4 times the car's original sticker price. And here's the kicker. The car is unreliable, meaning unexpected repairs add another $2,000 to $3,000 over the same period. Let's break down the math. Alex, $20,000 car plus $3,000 interest equals $23,000 total. Reliability equals 10 years, no extra cost. Jordan, $4,000 car plus $11,000 interest equals $15,000 plus $2,500 repairs equals $17,500 over 4 years. That's $17,500 for a car that barely lasts half as long, or roughly $36,000 equivalent over a decade, compared to Alex's $23,000. This is the Boots theory in action, magnified by credit and systemic penalties. Jordan pays more for less, trapped by high-interest loans, predatory financing, and lack of liquidity. And it's not just a one-time cost. The cycle repeats every time the car fails or loan terms expire. This is the car trap. The system is designed to extract as much money as possible from those with the least, creating a loop where poor credit and lack of savings generate higher costs, not lower. Escape isn't impossible, but it requires knowledge, planning, and a financial buffer that the system hopes you won't have. And there's a hidden tax that no one talks about, a tax on your time. Every extra trip to the store because you couldn't buy in bulk, every repair for a car that breaks down, every hour spent negotiating a late fee, it all adds up. Imagine Jordan from our car example. That $2,500 in unexpected repairs doesn't just cost money. It costs 30 hours at minimum wage just to fix and manage the breakdowns. Think about waiting in line at a payday lender or juggling multiple bills because automatic payments bounced. Each hour spent could have been earning you $15 to $20. Multiply that across a year, and you're looking at hundreds of lost hours, or roughly $4,000 to $5,000 in missed earning potential for someone making $15 per hour. This is the friction of daily life. Every inconvenience, every forced decision because you lack liquidity steals your future. Time is money, but for people living paycheck to paycheck, time literally becomes a hidden surcharge on their existence. And the kicker? The wealthier you are, the less this friction touches your day. I can hear the objections already. Brian, this is depressing. It's rigged. How can anyone climb out of this? Yes, it is depressing. Yes, the system is rigged. But here's the critical point. Understanding the math is the first step to breaking it. Once you see how the costs compound, you stop blaming yourself for every bad outcome. You stop thinking, I just make poor choices. The truth is, you're playing a game where the rules are stacked against you. And here's the good news. You don't need to win every hand. You just need to stop the bleeding. Pay off the poor tax on groceries, fees, and small purchases first. This is often a higher ROI than trying to chase the stock market or a perfect side hustle. Every dollar you save by avoiding the poverty premium is a dollar that compounds into freedom, buffer, and future leverage. The trick is to shift from victimhood to strategic thinking. Stop pretending small decisions don't matter. They do, because over time, they snowball into wealth or debt. Here's the most critical concept, the buffer. Even a modest $1,000 emergency fund changes the game completely. Suddenly, you can buy the $50 boots that last 10 years, avoid that $35 overdraft fee, and handle unexpected repairs without panicking. That buffer lets you fix problems before they become catastrophes, which is the exact opposite of living paycheck to paycheck. Think of it like a shield. Each dollar in that fund reduces friction, frees mental bandwidth, and lets you buy quality instead of cheap replacements. You're not just buying a pan or a car, You're buying time, freedom, and reduced stress. The mental shift is crucial. Stop thinking in monthly payments. Start thinking about total cost of ownership. Companies profit from your ignorance. They want you to pay little now and suffer hidden costs later. With a buffer, you switch from defense to offense, and suddenly, the poverty premium starts shrinking. It's not sexy. It's not a trending side hustle, but it works. Audit your life for small, recurring poor tax expenses, corner store purchases, overdraft fees, high-interest loans. Quantify each cost over a year. Numbers are power. Execute. Open a separate savings account and deposit $25 to $50 weekly. That's $1,000 in months, not years. Think of each deposit as a strategic strike against the system. Small actions build leverage. Small wins compound into freedom, choice, and wealth. This journey is unfair. I won't lie to you. It's 10 times harder to go from $0 to $1,000 than from $1,000 to $10,000. But once you hit that first milestone, the math starts working for you. The wind shifts in your favor. Imagine walking out of the corner store and actually having the power to buy smart, to avoid the extra $10, $35, or $500 costs that keep you trapped. That's what financial freedom feels like. The first step isn't massive wealth, it's control and choice. If this resonated with you, share this video, hit subscribe, and start building your buffer today. We don't talk about this enough, but understanding the math is how you walk right out of the hole.